Welcome to Real Estate Agent Superstars. From groundbreaking strategies to personal stories of triumph, we're here to uncover the secrets behind the success of the real estate industry's elite. And now, here is your host, R.J. Baxter.
Our guest today is Tina Holm with 5281 Exclusive Homes Realty. She was Agent of the Year in 2022 with her brokerage, and she's 5 years in the business, and I'm really excited to have her on the show today. Welcome to the show, Tina.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. How did you find the real estate business? How did you get started?
Well, I think a lot like most people, COVID kind of happened, and we start to see industries that we're in not be something that can sustain for a global pandemic. Real estate kind of always happens. So I made the shift during COVID. I previously was working in the events industry, which, as you can imagine, completely, crashed. We tried for a little while to do online events and things of that nature, but it just, never really stuck around. So I took the opportunity of being, low of things to do and having a lot of extra time to study really hard and take my real estate exam and really, push myself out of my comfort zone to do something that I've always had an interest in. And lucky me, here I am today.
Nice.
Yeah.
What kinds of things translated from the events industry that helped you in real estate?
I think there's certain things that pull, like certain personality types that pull people into this industry that also pull people into working in events. And that's certainly, I'm very organized. I live and breathe by deadlines, maybe not all the time people do in the events industry. So this has been a breath of fresh air. But being able to talk with people and understanding your client and understanding the people that you're working with and just, best practices on how to get done for them what they want.
Awesome. And did you have success right out of the gate? Because 2022, that would have been what, your second year, third year?
That was my second full year, my second production year, really. Yeah. And
Gotcha.
no, I did not have success out of the gate at all. No.
Okay. Well, what turned the tide for you back then? What was it did you change something in your business or do something different?
Yeah. So I changed brokerages. I started with a bigger brokerage, like one that had quite a few people in it, a lot less personal time dedicated to kind of the learning and teaching portion. I mean, it was a great place to start because there's lots of classes and things that kind of help you with the real estate 101 and how to use what you've learned in schooling and apply it. But I didn't feel like there was much personal attention to growth. So I switched brokerages. I also switched to a brokerage that had Zillow Flex leads, which, if there was somebody new to the industry, I can't even explain how valuable it is to get leads. You're coming from somewhere that, you're not going to your friends and stuff and looking for clientele from where my previous business was to where it is now. And it just kind of helps, guide you into being able to do these transactions, working closely with the people that work in your office with you and, getting that jump start with clientele. Now, every person that I meet through Zillow, I then can be a referral for their friends and just helping to kind of network in a much larger grand scheme than just, my Instagram.
Right. So how much of that early success was the Zillow Flex leads?
A lot. Probably, I would say about 75% of it was Zillow leads.
Wow.
Once my friends and peers started to see me in the business, I think it helped to gain a lot more trust in me, than just like picking somebody because they're your friend. This is a big life choice and you can't just really choose your friend because they're in the industry. They need to kind of prove themselves too. Something that I completely understand in that. And so it was nice to have that success with my Zillow leads and be able to show that stuff off.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So it showed that you knew what you were doing and you were
Mhm.
active in the market, and that built that trust with the people that you knew already.
Definitely. And it also helps to have things to share. You know, we're such an age of social media and social media marketing and things like that. And I mean, to be able to market yourself in this industry, I think being able to, share your successes does something a lot more than just, I mean, education is obviously great too, but
Hmm.
yeah, being
Hmm.
able to share this person's under contract, these are the concessions that we got them, things like that. It helps jumpstart it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit more about how you do that or exactly what you do. I'm kind of curious just myself because I'm not
Yeah,
the
I
best on
mean,
social media.
I'd love to say that I'm still doing it, but it's a very draining kind of thing for me personally. So I've
Yeah.
been not very good at it as of late, but definitely early in my career, I was, I had set out and I still have it basically like what my posts would be daily. I mean, obviously, higher traction kind of helps. I've definitely shifted. I had like a specific Instagram, a specific Facebook, and the traction on it's just not great. So I've actually moved more towards it being all on my personals, which helps to just reach a larger network of people and
Hmm.
get a lot more interaction from the people. Like my mom's friends are like my biggest fans, and so
Uh-huh.
things
Uh-huh.
like that, just being able to share it personally, I think is super beneficial. It was a weird mental game for me to, let this be my personal life and this be my professional life. But when it comes to real estate, I really think the two kind of mesh. I pride
Hmm.
myself on being, somebody that people want to work with because they want to work with me. And so putting my business with my actual identity, they've started to coincide and be the same.
That's really interesting because that's something that I think a lot of people struggle with is whether to have a business page separate from their personal page and how much to business to post on the personal. What percentage of your posts would you say on your personal is business related?
I mean, I think so much of like for Instagram, for instance, we're moving so much away from like actual posting. So it's a lot of stories. I would say, maybe 30% of it is going to be business. I have a TikTok and I do generally business stuff on there when I come up with ideas and things like that. But then it
Hmm.
definitely crosses over with my personal life on that too. I'd say on TikTok it's probably more like 60-70% business. On Instagram it's
Okay.
definitely a lot less. And then Facebook is
Interesting.
probably only business because I just don't use Facebook that much.
Yeah, that's kind of it seems like that's going by the wayside a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um, do you do video on there? Or?
I am, it's like kind of a joke in my office that I really hate being filmed. So lucky you. But
Yeah, here we
I
are.
know. At least it can be more natural if I'm like, if I've got a script or something, I'm just totally out. I hate it so much. But yeah, it'll be a lot of video, like tours of houses or listings that I have coming up, or I usually try and put some sort of comic twist on it. I don't like to take anything too seriously, and people tend to gravitate towards that, I think, as well.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
pretty
obviously, I'm
awesome.
taking transactions seriously, but
Sure, sure.
you know,
But
we
but
laugh
that
along the way.
yeah, that I mean that brings out your personality and people love that kind of stuff.
Exactly, exactly. That's why I think, when it comes to business of people, you really are kind of picking the person. Obviously, you want to make sure that, they're doing a good job. I also am doing a good job, but,
Hmm.
I'm selling myself too at the end of the day.
Totally, totally. So how do you, if you don't like video, how do you get over that? Like how do you still do videos?
I do a lot of I mean, if it's me on film, I'm doing like the voiceovers or what is it? Not voiceovers, the like lip syncing to like
Mm,
a trending sound or something like that. That makes it a lot easier for me. And then with video tours, it's just with music on top of it. Then I don't have to really be talking or anything. So it's a hard
oh,
thing to overcome, and I don't really know that overcoming it is in the cards for me. I think it's just going to be this way.
Well, I've been doing video for a long time, like 14 years, and
Yeah.
it's still hard for me. So
Yeah.
I think you're right. Sometimes it's just, you just kind of have to do it, and
Yeah.
you don't get
And
over it.
sometimes it's just about posting it, you know. I think that's
Yeah.
like a lot of times it's not the content that really matters, it's just the consistency, you know. So like if it is, you know, anytime that I'm going to showings, you know, with clients where I know that they've got awesome taste or very similar taste to me, I'm showing up to those showings like 20 minutes early, taking some videos of them, you know, talking to a listing agent, like I'll free post this, you know, and just be able, like people love houses, people love design. And so that's an easy one to fall back to, that you're still posting
Mm.
content. And if it's not perfect, doesn't have you in it, but put like a trending track over it and you're good, you know?
That's really interesting that you say that, because I think that's why really wise. It's more the consistency than the actual content. Like it doesn't have to be perfect,
Yeah,
I think is what I
definitely.
hear you saying. Yeah.
Definitely,
So,
absolutely. I was doing, you know, when I had first started, I had had those daily posts and stuff, and I had, you know, this or that thing that I kind of came up with, and it was like, you know, going through kitchens. Do you like the concrete countertops? Do you like granite countertops? And it was interactive, and I got like such positive feedback from that, from just friends of mine, really, that
mm,
were on my page and stuff. And that was just like a fun little thing. I mean, I've definitely fallen off on the consistency of that because that's a harder one to put together. It takes a while, but you know, just doing things where people can interact is just fun.
yeah, that's really cool. So,
Hmm.
so where can people find you? Is it just Tina Holm on Instagram or?
My real estate page is Wild, like Oscar Wilde, WILDE Card Realtor. So that's my like
Okay.
LLC name, Wild Card Realtor. It was my business
Interesting.
from when I was in real estate, and it's just kind of stuck with me forever. So that's where I'm at.
Okay.
On Facebook, I'm Home on Homes, HOLM on Homes.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Where did that what was it? What?
Wild Card Real Estate.
Wild card real estate. Where did that come from? Is there a meaning behind
It's
that?
my it's my cat's middle name.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I was, you know, I like Oscar Wilde. I had done that kind of, I mean, she's like 8 years old now, so kind of kept that.
Okay.
And then, you know, just the concept of being a wild card, I always really loved. And so I kind of kept those two together. You know, when I had done my own kind of personal branding, which my first real estate agency was really great on having something that you can carry with you. Even as
Hmm.
you're changing brokerages, you know, I don't have intentions of changing brokerages at this point in time at all, but you know, something that's just like personal to you too. So they did a great
Totally.
job of helping me, you know, make my own branding and things like that. And the way that it all kind of played out was just really cool. And so I kept on with that. And, you know, I think the types of clientele that I lean towards, you know,
Hmm.
I work with a lot of first time home buyers. I work with a lot of people that have super similar, you know, style tastes as me. And it's not the millennial gray. It's not the, you know, new build condos and stuff. It's things with a lot more soul and a lot more, you know, quirkiness.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really wise thing too, to have your own brand, because
Hmm.
I think that's a mistake a lot of agents and lenders, for that matter, make, is they make more of the company their brand instead of
Right.
having their own personal brand that's separate. Because you are the brand, not the
Right.
company.
And at the end of the day, like you have your umbrella, right? Like the company that you work under
Totally.
is that big umbrella. And I do, you know, identify with this company quite a bit. The branding for me personally, I mean, I'm colors, patterns. I like to be super expressive. And I think a lot of, you know, at least lenders for sure, it can be so stale. And so you really have to like get to know who the person that you're working with is.
Totally. Totally. So, when you mentioned Wildcard Realty, Wildcard Realty, is it? Did I get
Wildcard Realtor as
Realtor? Okay.
our the confines that we have to be in for NAR is it not realty. I work for
Oh,
5281, so it's got to be realtor. Yeah,
that's really interesting. I didn't
yeah,
realize that. Okay.
yeah,
Well, I'll get the name one of these times.
yeah.
Um, But that kind of goes into your personality. What I thought was really interesting with you when we met is how much traveling you've done and plan to do.
Yeah,
Tell me a little bit more about that. You have a trip coming up.
I do. Yeah. So, I mean, right out the gate, I went to Northern Illinois University. I'm from the suburbs of Chicago. And after I graduated, I have a psychology degree. I just wasn't ready to join the workforce. So moved. I started traveling. I moved to Australia, lived there for a year, then did like quite a few years of traveling after that, kind of just on and off. The service industry is a great place to be able to pick up and put work down quite a
Yep.
bit.
Yep.
So I did a lot of that. I mean, my last big trip was actually right after pre-COVID now. Gosh, time flies when
Right.
COVID happened. All of a sudden, the years are going by. But yeah, I like to travel. I did a 4 months in South America a couple of years ago. And I'm actually getting ready in just about 2 weeks to head back to Australia for a little while.
Awesome. How long are you going to be in Australia?
TBD at this point. My
Oh,
partner actually lives there. So he's
okay.
spent a lot of time here visiting and staying with me for months at a time. So it's my turn. And, I think we're also, this isn't the type of industry either where you have to quit your job or completely leave when you leave. So I've got a really great team behind me that's going to be able to help me out while I'm gone. And, I plan to still be very, connected with my clients and make sure they know I'm not gone for good. I'm just gone temporarily. So, a couple of months, but it's seeming like a good time. We would think it would be a good time historically, but of course we're seeing interest rate changes and things like that. So it's
Right,
probably
right.
going to get crazy and I'm going to be kicking myself. But, you can't anticipate this industry. If we could, we'd all be rich. So it's, I think it's important to still like be a person and take your chances and, live
Totally.
by what you want to live by and not just live and breathe money and work. So
Right. I mean, you're not going to look back 10 years from now and say, I wish I would have worked those 2 months.
exactly. So money comes and goes.
Yep.
We
Yep.
all know.
And and it, and it's also always, of course, the what happens is when you go on a trip, things pick up.
Yeah,
That's like
exactly.
that's like the rule.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
so the company I work for is really fantastic. We're a small boutique brokerage, like family owned and run. So when I actually got Agent of the Year that year, they take us on a trip and it
Mm.
ended up working out really well for them that Italy was cheaper than New York. So we went to
Wow.
Italy and had 8 days in Italy with them, which was just amazing. I mean, being able to do things that like on my own I probably never would have been able to do or know about. They spent a lot of
Hmm.
time there. So like there's a winery that they always go to and are members at and stuff. So to be able to get treated really nice was amazing. And then, I spent while I was there, I'm like, I've never been to Italy. I haven't been to like a whole bunch of Europe. And then my friends were getting married there. So I stayed and I was there for a month. And yeah, while I was on my way there, I'm getting under contract and having to deal with it all. But
Uh-huh.
I think that's also the beauty of working with a small company is people have your back.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
what's been your favorite country to visit besides Australia? That doesn't count. We can't count that.
Well, I loved Colombia. I think that I put
Mm.
a lot of emphasis on food in other countries. I wouldn't say Colombia has the best food, but if I were to go by food and culture, Vietnam was amazing too.
Mm.
Beautiful. The food was just so good.
Yeah. Yeah. How many
That's,
countries have you been to?
I need to sit down and count, but maybe like 20, 25, something around there.
Okay.
It's nice when you go to places like South America or Southeast Asia and they're all like right there. It's
Yeah.
funny
Yeah. You can
going
just
into other countries and people being like, "You've never left America or something." And it's like, "Yeah, well, America's twice the size of your country, so
right. Yeah. Exactly.
I've been
So
around."
What else is on your short list of places to visit?
Well, while I'm there, I really want to go to New Zealand because I haven't
Mhm.
been, and it's really close to Australia. It's hard to make a trip, I think, only to New Zealand. I think it's hard to make a trip only to Australia. It's just so far away. So, I would love to go to New Zealand. I've got a friend that lives there too, so that would be nice. And then Switzerland is like, I've just been obsessed with
Mm,
Switzerland lately. Expensive, but I'm a big hiker too, so that is calling my name for sure.
yeah, I was there years ago, and it's
Oh, amazing.
spectacular. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
the mountains are. Or go ahead, go ahead.
my sister's going to be there in a, in November. They're just passing through and I'm like just so jealous. So that
Yeah, it's
sounds
cool.
amazing.
It's cool. They have the trains with the window that goes all the way from the floor above you, and you sit
Cool.
sideways and you're looking at
Oh,
the mountain.
to
It's really
not
cool.
miss a single view.
Yeah, it's
My
unbelievable.
God.
And the hiking too, like you said, is
Uh-huh. Did
amazing.
you do lots of hiking there?
Some, yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yep. And it's
Yeah.
like when you're hiking on one mountain, the next mountain's just right there because they're so sharp and
Oh,
high.
incredible.
It's
Yeah,
really cool.
I did some hiking in South America. Like I did, went to hike to Machu Picchu, things like
Oh,
that. I
cool.
had a this Colca Canyon. It's one of the like deepest canyons in the world, and that was one of the worst hikes I've ever done. I don't even care about the views. I was like, it was just horrible. It was completely steep all the way down, completely steep all the way up. Like if you needed a rest, one foot was above the other. It was not
Wow.
enjoyable at
Okay.
all. And I didn't have my own hiking boots, so I like rented some. And that's if I'm going on a trip for hiking, I'm going to be prepared for hiking. And I just wasn't prepared for hiking in South America as much as I could have been, for sure.
Yeah. Not having your own shoes is a recipe for disaster.
Awful. It was just awful.
Yeah, man.
Especially going down like that. My toes were ready to fall right off.
Oh, I bet.
Ugh.
Man. Well, let's bring it back to the business part of things because I'm
Yeah.
curious, how do you do this when you leave? Like, how do you set your team up? How do you set your processes up? How involved are you actually when you're going to be in Australia?
Yeah, it's been something interesting to navigate, it was a sit down with my managing brokers and figuring out exactly how we're going to make this work. There's a lot of fees that go into being a realtor as well, and trying to like minimize those fees while being able to keep, because I'm not going to be working as much. So
Hmm.
it's really like, figuring out the team that I have behind me and just figuring out how I'm going to, split up any referrals that might come in. I've obviously stopped taking leads for a while now. I don't want to leave anybody high and dry. I don't want to leave any of my clients high and dry. And I have people that I know, are getting ready to sell or something like that. But just
Hmm.
making sure that they know that despite me being gone, they're going to be taken care of by people that I really trust. So, I've got a small team within my small team that, of people that I've worked with before, colleagues that I've worked with before, colleagues that I've leaned on before. And um, I've still something I have to do, but call my phone company, make sure that I'm still going to be able to get incoming calls and texts and
Hmm.
all of that stuff so that I can still be there when my clients do reach out and be able to refer them to someone that's going to be at least on their time zone. That's going to be the hardest part about Australia is the
Hmm.
time zone is so vastly different.
Yeah.
Um,
What's the time difference?
16 hours.
Whew,
So day to
man.
night.
Okay.
I wake
So,
up, my partner's going to sleep.
okay. Okay.
So it is very
Interesting.
much opposite. Um,
Okay.
so that's tough. But we're setting up an email so that I'm like a shadow email on all of the interaction with any of my clients so that I'll just be kind of tagged onto that too so I can keep um, everything like under my nose. I still very much want to be involved. I'm not the type of person that you work with that'll be like, this person can handle it. If it's my clients and my contacts, I want to be involved and I want to at least be able to check in, at least say, congrats, your appraisal came in high or something, like I want to
Right.
be involved. So, Yeah, we're figuring out still kind of the best way to really navigate that all. I mean, the great part is my managing brokers are big travelers too. They understand the importance of travel. They
Mm,
understand, you know, long distance relationships. They own another brokerage in Kansas City and are opening one in California. So a lot of the times they're in two different places. So, you know, I've got a lot of support behind me for what it is that I'm doing instead of, you know, where I can see people, you know, the downside of it all of like, it's going to ruin your business, but this is not going to be the thing that's going to ruin my business. It's just going to be something that, you know, I get to look at the types of people that I want to work with and continue working with and keep on my team so that I can do these things and so that they can do these things too. You know, I mean, there's so often where, you know, one of the people on my team was just at Burning Man for, you know,
mm.
2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. And we're here to pick up those pieces for a time where he can be able to shut his phone off and do the things that he enjoys. Life still needs to be lived just because, you know, you have a job.
Right, right.
That's not all there is. So it's really nice to have the support. I think that's going to be like the biggest thing that's going to allow me to step away
That's
in the
pretty
most
awesome.
way that I can step away. I'm like a
Right,
very
right.
controlled person, so I need to still have control and need to still have the contact and stuff. But I've got people that will keep me in the loop, and yeah, it's just nice to have a good team.
So I could envision people listening to this getting anxiety just thinking about doing what you're going to do. Um,
Definitely, I
but I
have
think, yeah, I have it for you, and I'm
it.
not even
Yeah,
knowing. Um, but I think it's so important to do these kinds of things, like you said, because life is too short. And
yeah,
I think
absolutely.
there's such a tendency in this business to, it's just 24/7. You got to have your phone on you all the time. Someone calls you at 2 in the morning, you have to pick it up type thing. And
Definitely.
I think to be able to let go of that to a certain extent is admirable. And to have that team to help you is awesome.
Yeah,
So
thank
it's
you.
really, yeah, it's really inspiring.
It's been a
Uh,
hard thing to contend with. I mean, I have gotten, you know, I'm definitely in a high point of my career right now. So stepping away at this point is very scary. I don't want to lose my momentum, but yeah, it's just timing. You can't pick it, you know, it just happens. So,
yeah, yeah.
and I think I'm very fortunate too that I'm able to do this after having, you know, some really great successes in the past month and a half, really, to be able to have, you know, a chunk of money saved so that I can feel cushy and comfortable while I go to, you know, I mean, being able to put my money into something that compounds my money while I'm not working, you know, has been able to help me rest a little bit easier. You know,
Hmm.
it is a tough time to be stepping away, but I think it would be even tougher if I was at a lower point and had and felt like I didn't have this momentum to carry me through these next couple of
Right,
months.
right. Well, when we met, you were at kind of a low point,
Yeah,
not
definitely.
pretty recently, really. So
Hmm.
how did you pull out of that and have such good success the past few months?
Yeah. So, you know, I started the year off low. I think a lot of people in this industry did. I don't think that I'm kind of on my own with that one, you know, especially with, you know, being only, this is, you know, my fourth full year. I'm finishing on my fourth full year. And just the beginning, interest rates were so scary. Everyone was so uneasy about the economy and all of this stuff. And it was just really hard. I I kept in touch with all of these people who were dipping their toes in, and you know it's definitely easy to try and get people out of your pipeline if it's not serious or anything like that. You know, I really hate sales calls and things like that, but I will still do check-ins, and that's just like keeping myself in front of people's faces that like, hey, I know not so it's not the time now, but when it is, I'm here for you. Let me know. Like, and that keeps keeping those check-ins, monthly check-ins, even just a quick, hey, how's it going? I hope you're having a good Memorial Day or whatever, you know. I mean, it's just
Hmm.
like a nice thing. Oh, they're still thinking about me. And I think once there was this kind of turn these past couple of months with people settling into interest rates. We're seeing, a little bit of the volatility die down in the marketplace. People came back, and that's
Yep.
really been something that I've been able to credit to, getting my business back. The relationships that I had made in the beginning of the year that were just stagnant and sitting and really can bring you down. I mean, it can be really
Hmm.
hard. It's hard in this industry to not, take everything so heavily, because it's your paycheck, it's your rent, it's your mortgage, it's your food in your fridge and all of that stuff. We rely on this and we don't have regular pay, and it can be something that super brings you down. But sorry, the sun's kind of going down right in my eyes. um but yeah, maintaining those relationships has been really helpful to getting my business back to where it is now. And then, um, you know, I'd like to say it's luck, but it's hard work, I think, too. There's a little bit of everything, but I've got my largest listing to date from an open house.
Wow.
So doing those things that your mentors tell you to do, it works, and maybe it doesn't work right away. Maybe you'll sit at open houses every weekend and meet a bunch of people that are just neighbors looking through, but all it takes is one for you to make that like investment back, really.
Hmm.
So even if it's not meeting somebody viable on every open house, it could be week 3 open house of this place that somebody walks in that door, and they're going to it's going to be that investment that you put in is going to pay back.
That's awesome. So it sounds like it's just doing the basics
Yeah,
that,
I mean,
you know,
yeah, I think there's something super, for my business at least, something to be said about just being yourself. Like that is, you're building your brand based on your personality and who you are and how you care about people. And yeah, I mean, I've got, like I said, I work with a lot of first time home buyers. Sorry. So there's people that are, that are around their friends that are looking to buy homes for the first time, and they say, hey, my realtor was awesome, she made everything seem so easy. That's how you get those referrals. And like, you don't want to hang out with somebody that's dry and stuffy every weekend for 6 months or however long it's going to take
right,
you to
right.
search. And you have to vibe and jive with the people that you work with. And so yeah, building my brand on being myself has been, um the basics, yes, but working with people, when you're working with clients, when you're the person who they have to decide on, they're deciding is on you as a person. So it's not just posting online every day. That's not going to be the thing that's going to get you the business. You have to post online with you behind it, like I
Hmm.
have a niche of things that I like. It's obvious my niche. I'll obviously work with people outside of my niche, but they're picking me for a different reason. I love working in old Victorian homes. Like I said, I'm in Denver. We've got some old houses and I love them. I like, they're my bread and butter. And so I post a lot of that. And so I get those people that are looking into that kind of style.
Hmm.
And then, the other types that are outside of it, they picked me because they picked me. And I
People
think it makes a
want to
difference.
people want to know who you are.
Definitely.
They, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not just that you're just a real estate agent. It's, what's your personality,
Right. They
like we're
want to
talking about.
connect with the person they're going to be with all the time. One
Yeah.
of my first first-ish deals, I started when, interest rates were like 2.8%. It was crazy out there. I've learned invaluable lessons on how to win a deal in the very beginning of my career. And a couple who were very good friends now, I went to their baby shower. I met these people and they said, like, yeah, we have a friend who's a realtor, but like, we don't want to hang out with him every weekend. Like, that's not somebody we want to be with every weekend. Like, we'd actually like to hang out with you these weekends. So, I mean, you're spending hours with these people, and it's not just listing off things on the MLS. It's 1,400 square feet, 2 beds, 1 bath. Okay, go off on your own. Like, you have to learn about people and learn about their personalities and the things that they like, so you can, shave off the options that aren't going to work for them and don't waste their time, and you don't waste your time either. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely about being personable. I think that
Oh yeah.
it's not a stuffy business by any means.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely
No.
not. How much of your business at this point is repeat and referral? 5 years in the business.
Not a whole lot. I think it's still pretty early for repeat business. I mean, I've definitely had repeat business. I had one of my like very first clients. We've now done 3 deals together.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's just based on her circumstance. Um, I've definitely had referrals. I would say maybe like 20 to 30% is going to be um, referrals or repeat business. I mean, the
Okay.
referrals are certainly going up as I get deeper into my career.
Sure. Sure. Do you have a specific stay in touch process or SOP for your
No.
past clients, or is it just kind of natural
Yeah,
touching
it's just
bases?
yeah, natural. I mean, Halloween is my favorite holiday. My clients know that about me, so I generally, of the people that I really connect with, some, as we probably all know in this industry, some transactions are just transactions, and you finish them up and it's, you never got to really connect with them or anything. And some people you grow to really be like, show me what the floors look like after you got it done. How's the baby? Like, I miss your little baby, like things like that. And so I do pop by gifts every now and again. And I'm a big crafter, so I like to make things personally for my clients. Um, like I said, Halloween's a big one for me. So I'll usually put together like a gift basket for Halloween. Everybody does something for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Nobody gives you presents for Halloween. So I think it's
That's
a good,
that's really smart,
it's a good,
especially since it's your thing.
it's my thing. And they'll know too, especially if it's around this time. But,
Yeah.
um, text messages, like just check-ins. Hey, was thinking about you guys, and I don't send those in a blanket. I don't look through my contact list and say, "Hey, I was thinking about you," and repeat those text messages to everybody. I'm genuine about it when I am saying, "Hey, I was thinking about you. Like, how's things going? I know it's college time for your kid or something like that. So I think
Yeah.
it's the genuine portion of it. I'll mass print cards, but I'm writing something handwritten in the note. I mean, I think that's one of those basic things too, that people are like, handwritten notes are just, I think a important thing. It makes people feel good, like they're actually being
100%.
thought of, and
Totally.
it's not just a stamp with my signature on it, you know?
Yep. Yep. I
Obviously,
agree.
as I have more past clients, I need to figure out a way to streamline this a little bit more, but I spend time on it. It's something that I enjoy doing too. I like making relationships with people, and I like long-term relationships with people.
Hmm.
That's how you get people to come back to you. That's how,
Totally.
when someone, is talking about being interested in buying a home, they'll say, well, if you need a realtor, I have a great one.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hopefully before they've already met somebody else.
Exactly. Exactly. I've got a great handwritten note story.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard this, but George Bush, the first George Bush,
Uh-huh.
he would write 20 handwritten notes a day, and
Wow.
which is a lot, especially for
Yeah.
someone running for president, and during his presidency. But he attributed handwritten notes to him being elected to be president.
Well, see, I should be
So
president one day.
yeah, exactly. That's your
I don't
next
want to
thing.
do that.
Yeah, me neither. Well, this has been
That's
awesome
great.
having you on the show, Tina. It's just the things you're sharing are practical tips for people, and your travels are inspiring. So I really appreciate you taking the time to be on.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been nice to kind of talk about it. Obviously, the last couple of weeks have been super stressful, just trying to transfer my life from where it is right now to where it's about to be for the next few months. Again, I just got under contract, so I'm going to be not even in the country when we close, but it's been like an exercise too of telling my client that I care about, that I
Uh-huh.
and might not be here, but I'm here, and I'm still here
Yeah.
for you. Luckily, we'll be able to get through all of the like nitty gritty stuff. We've got inspection today, so before I leave, but she's also going to Nicaragua for 2 weeks,
Oh,
so it's been a nice way to like, she's like, that's great. That's awesome that you get to go. And I'm saying that's awesome that you get to go. So I think a lot of people can be really understanding to things like this, especially things like travel. It's something that we all wish we could do more of, so it's nice to be able to do for sure. I'm very
Yeah,
lucky.
and plus, since people know you and know who you are, I'm sure they embrace that.
Oh, for
So,
sure. Yeah. I mean, it comes up too, I mean, with past clients that I closed with just recently, first time home buyers, while we were searching together, they went to Australia for 2 weeks. And so it's a
mm,
nice, you
yeah,
can always connect on people with, oh, did you go here when you went there? Did you guys get to go here when you were there? So people love talking about their experiences, their life travels and things like that. And it's a really great way of connecting with people too. And I think it makes us all better people. And I attribute a lot of my success and my relationship success with clients, with friends, and all of that stuff on my travel. I always kind of said I learned more in the 3 years after I graduated college than I did in the 4 years and $50,000 in debt that I have from going to university. So it's
absolutely.
an invaluable experience, and if you have the means, I think you should take the chance, take the shot, and do it. Work will
Absolutely.
be here when you get back.
It always will. It's funny
That's
that way.
right, and that's why
Yeah.
I picked real estate, because it will always be here when I get back.
And it affords us the flexibility if we're willing to take that risk to do what we want to do with our lives.
Exactly. Exactly. I
So,
don't have any kids myself, but a lot of people in my office have kids, and to be able to cater your lifestyle around your business is great.
totally, totally. It'd be really fun to have you on down the road a few months or 5, 6 months and
Yeah, we'll see where I
share,
end up.
yeah, share how it went on your trip
Yeah,
to Australia.
absolutely. I'd love
So,
that.
yeah, but thanks again. Just really appreciate your time, and
Of
it's been
course.
inspiring to hear your story.
Certainly. And thank you so much for having me. This has been fun.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Real Estate Agent Superstars. If you're looking to dive deeper into the world of real estate and catch more episodes, head over to our website at www.realestateagentsuperstars.com. Curious about today's guest? Explore our show notes on the website for more details. Before you go, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and follow us on social media for the latest podcast updates. Thanks for tuning in.